family of entrepreneurs with a financial background. And I first got involved in Web3 when I founded On & Co, which is a Fintech platform which leverages the blockchain technology to streamline investments and by removing intermediaries. And I wanted to use the power of DAOs, which are blockchain-based entities governed by self-organizing communities, playing an important role in creating more efficient and less hierarchical organizations to create the AllStarsWomen NFT Club and DAO. It's a collaborative network and community that brings together female founders, entrepreneurs, and investors eager to back female-led projects. And the initiative is to give female entrepreneurs access to equal opportunities, basically to innovate and to build successful companies that can contribute to the global economy. I'm also involved in building the open metaverse via my work with Verse Estate, and we specialize in creating everything from immersive experiences, and everything is hyper-realistic, and we create hyper-realistic virtual spaces to help brands to better connect with their customers by creating unique immersive experiences and play-to-earn games. And just to give you like a brief idea of play-to-earn games, they really allow people to earn passive income, which can alleviate poverty in certain areas of the emerging world, such as Vietnam and Philippines. And I strongly believe that Web3 presents a chance to fix our collapses, and we need to make sure it doesn't fall in the same traps that Web 1 and Web 2 had. And I'd like to go over some key points with you during our session, like what's Web 3, how is it better than Web 2, and what are its major challenges, and how it can affect our lives. So before we move on to see how we can build it responsibly and ethically so that it impacts positively our lives, I'll just give you like a brief definition of Web3 is, and I would describe it as a community-run decentralized network, which essentially combines the open infrastructure of Web 1 with public participation of Web 2. And its key defining feature is actually ownership, as it gives users full control over their content, their data, and assets via blockchain. And basically the dream is that Web3 will use blockchain, crypto, and NFTs to transfer the power back to the internet community. And in doing so, it breaks the monopoly that Web2 giants have, such as Google and Facebook. And I think it's going to bring us a fairer and more autonomous and open internet. And with blockchain, transactions and contracts are basically embedded permanently within the distributed ledgers, and people can use a unique blockchain to mint digital goods, such as music and artwork, and then sell them to collectors as NFTs in the same way as a physical object. And so the provenance of the work is in the blockchain. So there's a chain of ownership, and artists can receive royalties on secondary market sales. So essentially Web3 offers it also offers a new type of organization known as decentralized autonomous organizations, which are for sure DAOs. And these new organizations are governed by computer softwares in the form of blockchain-powered smart contracts. And DAOs are actually a great way to quickly and fairly allow groups of people to work together collaboratively. And unlike traditional organizations that operate from the top down, DAOs operate as a flat hierarchical structure, which allows members to have a say in crucial decisions, vote, and can impact the broader group rather than just having the primary shareholders decide of everything by themselves. And in addition to that, DAOs are actually much more accessible to the average individual, as the barrier to entry is not that high. Usually the only people who can invest in an organization early on and reap most of the financial returns as a result are incredibly wealthy and networked individuals. Sorry. And the issue is that DAOs, the only drawback to DAOs is actually that they have no legal structure so far. And whether members have protection from personal liability is it's an open question regarding this because there's no legal frameworks. And so rather than the walled gardens of Web 2, Web 3 actually promises to offer a seamless and integrated experience, and which allows individuals to move between platforms and retain ownership of their identity, data, and assets. And a very important aspect as well, which I want to highlight of Web 3, is actually the Metaverse. In relation to Web 3, I would say the Metaverse, it basically covers the next iteration of the internet's front end. That would be it. And the user interface through which we interact with the online world and communicate with others, users, and how we manipulate data. And basically, the idea of the metaverse is that it will be a much more immersive, social, and persistent version of the current internet. It's going to use technologies like virtual reality and augmented reality to draw us in. And this enables us to interact with the digital domain in more natural and immersive ways. For example, by using virtual hands to pick up and manipulate objects and our voices to give instructions to machines or talk to other people. And it's just incredible. And in many ways, the metaverse can be thought of as the new interface through which humans are going to engage with Web3, its tools, and all of its applications. As well, I think that the metaverse can provide benefits to companies and workers alike, enabling collaborations in a stimulating 3D environment. Actually, on that matter, DXC technology, a DXC representative who has extensive experience managing the workplace of over 6 million users, they actually said that many workers feel torn between the freedom and flexibility of remote work and the desire to reconnect with colleagues and clients in real life. And even the Microsoft research shows that over 70% of workers want flexible remote work options to continue, while over 65% crave more in-person time with their teams. And so the evolution of immersive virtual technologies could now enable organizations to give their employees the best of both worlds. So to deliver basically on its potential, the metaverse must be inclusive from its inception, because millions of workers are already meeting colleagues in virtual spaces. And bolstered by the pandemic, tech companies are now looking to transform virtual workspaces into a metaverse of social and business interactions in a stimulating 3D environment. They're really looking for that and to provide, what's best for their employees to communicate with each other. And yes, the potential to improve collaborative equity, and it's really significant with the use of the metaverse. And I think that if done well, the metaverse could be a positive forge for access and diversity, and bridging some of the divides that exist in today's physical and digital spaces. It needs to be developed openly with a spirit of cooperation between the private sector, lawmakers, civil society, academia, and most importantly, people who will use these technologies on a daily basis. And as we build these virtual worlds, I think we must do three things in order to achieve that, which I think we need to prioritize inclusivity, learn from grassroots innovations, and embrace collaboration. And I think we must ensure inclusivity is the starting point and not an afterthought of the metaverse. Virtual work models are not only better for the environment, but crucially for the people who use them. Even DXC technology experiences shows that employees of virtual first organizations, especially those with access to opportunities to collaborate in the metaverse, are more productive, more engaged, and can take part in their communities in many ways and in new ways as well. Increased inclusivity is also an inherent benefit of virtual environments, where a person's location, gender, physical attributes, or even personal circumstances are less important than their ideas or the quality of their work. As a result, organizations will benefit from diverse new talent pools from previously underrepresented groups, from mothers nursing their children to people with physical or psychological challenges. No one needs to be excluded from a virtual workspace. But I would say for virtual environments to be genuinely inclusive, tech companies must provide everyone with the tools and technologies they need to take part and feel represented. This provision isn't just about giving people laptops and creating diverse-looking avatars, but also addressing people's physical challenges, such as providing control interfaces for those unable to use a conventional keyboard. And these are issues that need to be addressed now as we lay the Metaverse foundations. So I think it will take years for the Metaverse to be built. So we have a long road ahead. And to work towards an inclusive Metaverse, we need to be intentional about how we will do it, by starting with asking the right questions, like what inclusivity must look like in the immersive experiences. We need to research and explore issues related to the Metaverse from different perspectives to understand historical barriers to information technology, which will allow us to figure out how we can remove those barriers and just approach problems from outside of the box as well. And it's crucial to building networks of diverse talent, not only to participate in the Metaverse as consumers, but they should be able to, it should be its architects and builders too. And to make that happen, we need to increase the diversity of people working in the tech industry, particularly in areas like artificial intelligence, gaming, virtual reality, and augmented reality, AR, VR. And another thing important to mention is that Web3 advocates claim the next iteration of the internet will be decentralized and hand over power to the users. The concern is that even if blockchains are decentralized, the Web3 services that interact with them are actually controlled by a very small number of privately held companies. Besides many activities that make a blockchain-based activity on the web possible, it depends on a handful of private centralized companies, which can be a potential weakness in the Web3 infrastructure. Blockchain apps rely heavily on applications, programming interfaces, APIs, which lets software communicate with other software. And in Web2 sites, for example, APIs allow to make a profile with a mobile game using your Facebook credentials. In Web3, many decentralized apps, like dApps, use APIs to connect to blockchains like Ethereum rather than directly themselves. And instead of trusting Ethereum, in other words, one has to trust companies. Oops. Is it still on? Yeah. Okay. One has to trust companies like Infura or Alchemy, and a few dominant companies like Binance, MetaMask, OpenSea. They're gaining a massive market share, so much traction by building user-friendly platforms to bring the next iteration of the internet to the masses. And that sounds like a lot like Web2, to be honest. And in the future, Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, said that it will become easier and cheaper for companies and users to run programs directly on Ethereum blockchain, even if users gravitate towards easy-to-use centralized options. Now, while we're at a point in Web3 development where exploitation and inequality might become hardwired and sclerotic, I believe that we still have a chance to usefully shape it for shared prosperity and justice. The best way to approach that is to slow down, take a minute for examination, and then intentionally and proactively build protection, privacy, and equity systems as part of the journey. And we must make values integral to the architecture. This is especially critical and necessary when we think about the applications of digital technologies to social good, or more importantly, in a world where Web3 technologies are a part of life, and how we transform our present into a future that is equitable, joyful, and generative. So, to conclude, the metaverse, I think, is drastically changing the way we live, work, and collaborate and interact with each other. We're basically going to be living in a parallel extension of our reality in the metaverse, where we will have our digital identities, own digital spaces, socialize, and even work and hold business meetings. We're witnessing something which will very well affect society and economies in real life, which blurring the lines between both worlds. And what happens in one will affect the other. Web3 and virtual worlds are still a blank canvas, and this is why I think we need to seize the opportunity now, harness the power of virtual worlds to make a positive impact in the real world as well. And it definitely isn't easy to resolve the complicated issues of DeFi and technologies and Web3, especially at a global scale. But with intentions and convictions and the ability to see through challenges, we can definitely continue to push both worlds, the physical and the virtual ones, from how it currently is to how it should be for the greater good, and to keep advancing the human race. So yeah, I think that's it for me, and I hope like you enjoyed the session. I believe it was 20 minutes. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you. I'm just seeing the comments now. Thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you guys again. If you'd like, I can put in my LinkedIn, and you're more than welcome to join the AllStarsWomen network. There's like it's many females, but males are also like welcome to join. It's just to help. It's like an initiative to help females, network and access, as I said. So thank you all for the comments. Perfect. Okay, so I'm looking forward to connect with you all, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. There's like some great panels coming on. So thank you guys. See you soon.